So, it's time to do the first of my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll start with this one. Pardon me. First list is the top 10 live action Nickelodeon shows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Top 10 live action Nickelodeon shows. Back in the day, there were two main channels. Disney Channel was one of them. I didn't do a list for this one, but there was Nickelodeon and there was Cartoon Network. So first stop is Nickelodeon, because they came first. And so we have our top 10 live action Nickelodeon shows. I have honorable mentions here. So the honorable mentions are The Secret World of Alex Mack, where a teenage girl is in an accident where she is hit by this chemical, where she gains powers. She can melt into puddles, she can glow, she can do things with her finger. It's cool. My Brother and Me, which you can argue was probably Nickelodeon's first African-American series. I think it was on even before Kenan and Kel. So I think but it was a really good show. Cousin Skeeter, speaking of African-American series, where this one though, the main character was a puppet, voiced by Bill Bellamy, and he had a cousin, the baby Robert Richard, and then, hijinks. 100 Deeds for Eddie McDowd, where a bully was turned into a dog after he bullied the wrong person, and he had to do 100 deeds to be free of it. Spoiler alert, didn't happen in the last 2 seasons. Didn't even get 100 deeds, but, Romeo, which is the TV show for Little Romeo, his family, not really his family, but his dad, Space Cases, which starred Walter Emmanuel Jones, who was the original Black Ranger, and they were in space, and then season 2 happened, and they switched out actresses, and it was pretty cool. Shelby Woo, which starred Pat Narita as the grandfather of Shelby Woo, and Shelby Woo was this teenager who, with her friends, went around solving mysteries. Pretty good show. I like mystery shows, Scooby-Doo, stuff like that. Journey of Alan Strange, which featured an alien played by R.J. Smith, who came to Earth and takes a human form and ends up living with a human family. The kids know he's an alien, but the dad does not. And they basically, week after week, they have weird stuff happen, Caitlin's Way, which is about a girl who goes, after getting in trouble, goes to live with her aunt and uncle and cousin, and she starts to become a normal kid, not troublemaker like she was. Wienerville, which was a sketch show hosted by Mark Wiener. Yes, that's his real name. It was a funny little sketch show. Most of it was done with Mark Wiener's head over a puppet, and they do the puppet stuff. It was pretty cool. The Amanda Show was the spin-off of all of that, and was a show starring Amanda Bynes, and featuring Nickelodeon stars Jock Peck and Drake Bell. It was a sketch show, pretty good, stuff going on. And the Nick Cannon Show, which had Nick Cannon going around taking over stuff. I really wish I could have fit this on my top 10, but I couldn't. But he'd take over stuff by, going, I take over the neighborhood, or your school, or a circus, or a rodeo, something like that. Just do stuff there. It was pretty cool. Now the top 10. Here's the top 10 right here. Number 10, Roundhouse, which was a sketch comedy show on a budget, basically. The premise was every week, this group of people would get together to teach teens stuff. And what's meant for teens, because they say stuff like hell and damn in it, and it would be they do little skits, and there's dancing, and then there's some songs, and it was, basically, and they didn't have, costumes or a budget or anything. They had some props, but not really. And it's just, it was an interesting show. About a couple of years ago, they had a whole bunch of episodes on YouTube, and I sat there and watched them. And I'm glad I did, because shortly after that, they were taken down off YouTube. So I tried to find them again, couldn't find them. But I really enjoyed it when I watched it. It was pretty cool. And I think 4 of the cast members were actually in the movie Newsies as dancers. Isaac Dudowski. I can't name them all, but just like 4 of them. They were background dancers, singers. A couple of them had. It was pretty cool. But yeah, and the most memorable thing I remember is the dad character. Because he had this giant-ass reclining chair, or whatever, and it was motorized and moved around. I think that's what all the budget went to, was that chair. Because it would move, he would just move around the stage with it. It was pretty cool. His signature catchphrase was, "Hey, pull my finger." He was pretty cool. I liked him. And, I liked all the characters. They're pretty cool. And they went through their whole, there was morals to learn, like, asking a girl out, or they even did like fake ads about how, like one of the memorable ones is that like a girl couldn't keep boys from staring at her boobs, so they give her these big wacky glasses so that they look at her glasses instead. It's really weird. As I said, it was meant for teens, so yeah. Pretty good. So on to the next one. No, that's number 10. Number 9, Salute Your Shorts. This was a short-lived series. I could do one on that, but I don't have all the episodes, actually. I don't think about it. Well, I could do one on Nickelodeon Show, too, and just watch what I know, and what I have, and go on that. But Salute Your Shorts was this series about these kids in a summer camp, and just like camp life and all the trouble they get into, and they're dealing with this this one counselor, which his name is Ugly. Do you get it? Ugly. Kevin Lee, I think is the character's real name, but they call him Ugg because Ugly. But yeah, it's a pretty good show. Danny Cooksey, Michael Ray Bauer. I think even, I don't know, but and then of course they had a cast change in season 2. But yeah, pretty good show. It's camp. And the mysterious Dr. Khan that is never seen but always heard. This is Dr. Khan. This is Dr. Khan. He's heard over the speaker, but you never see him. The mysterious Dr. Khan. I always like calling him that. Yeah, pretty good show. Number 8 is Hey Dude. And much like Salute Your Shorts, it was a show set at a remote location featuring mostly teenagers with like one adult. This one had 2 of them. But this time it's a dude ranch, and it's the main characters working on a dude ranch and dealing with problems at this dude ranch. It's a decent show. I have the complete series on DVD. That's 5 seasons, so I don't think I'm going to do a short-lived on that because it's not really short-lived. But yeah, it's a decent show. I think, the characters move from time to time, they change, but just the comedy is pretty good. The acting was all right for 1989 when it first came on. I guess it was all right. Number 7 is Drake and Josh. Here we go. All right. It pains me I had to put it down this low, but all the rest of these are so good, I had to put it down this low. Number 7 is Drake and Josh. Now, I'm going to stop to explain this. I didn't explain it when I got started. I'm only counting with these shows, Nickelodeon Cartoon Network, I'm only counting from my childhood, which I count from 1987, my birth, to 2005, my 18th, when I turned 18. If it came out in 2005, I don't know. I don't have anything for that, but like, I turned 18 in February 2005, so that's when the stop is. And Drake and Josh came out in 2004, January 2004. I remember that. It was one of the shows my brother and I would watch together, and we watched the premiere of this together, and I remember loving it. And I still watch it. I watch it with my son now, because they play it sometimes. They play it Saturdays on the Teen Nick channel. They like to watch it. And the show was basically sort of a spin-off of the Amanda Show, where they took Drake Bell and Josh Peck and they put them in the show. And it was Drake's mom is dating this guy who happens to be Josh's dad, and they're gonna get married. So now, right away, because it's like the first scene is Drake walking in. And he's like, because they're making out. He's like, we have an announcement, and Josh comes in and stuff, and then they bring Megan down. This is his sister, and they announce that they're getting married. And then the credits roll, and right after the credits, they're moving Josh in to Drake's room. It's like, that was quick. And the one thing that always got me is we never see the wedding. Not at all. No wedding. It's just, boom, they're all living together. There's no wedding. But it's basically about Drake and Josh. Drake Parker, Josh Nichols, they're living together. They had to coexist with each other. It lasted 4 seasons. TV movie, which was the finale, which really big shrimp, which is a good finale. But I remember when I watched it, I was just like, this seems like a finale. Like, Drake's got his record deal, spoiler alert, and Josh is finally the assistant manager of the premiere. Well, they wanted. He's got Mindy back. It seems like the finale, but they aired 2 more episodes after this. One was Helicopter, which was just randomly aired, and then the other one they saved for this dance night for their Teen Nick block. And it was weird because it was also aired alongside iCarly, which was not really a spin-off show, but like Miranda Cosgrove, who played Megan, went on to be the lead on that show. So there's 2 episodes with the same character on the same night, with the same actress, I should say, on the same night. But yeah, Drake and Josh, pretty good show. I still watch it at the time. I love it. Number 6 is na 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 na. If you don't know what that is, then stop watching the video. Don't stop watching the video. I want you to watch the video. I'm just saying, you don't know what that is. Clarissa explains it all. And it was Melissa Joan Hart's first show before before Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and it starred her as Clarissa Darling. And she basically sat there and she gave his advice and stuff, and she would talk about her life and the stuff that went wrong, and what's going on, and her brother Ferguson and her parents, her name is Ferguson, and her best friend Sam, who never used the door once. You'd hear, he would come through her window, and you'd hear the ladder hit, hey Sam, and then a music cue, whatever, it's like, hey Sam, it's like, yeah, it's just, and I also recently watched, because Pluto TV, if you don't know, has a Nickelodeon channel that plays classic Nickelodeon shows, and this was one of them, and I watched, I sat my son down and we watched it. I think he liked it pretty well. That's why I have season 1 on DVD somewhere. But yeah, number 5 is Animorphs. Oh. This show, my God, it lasted 3 seasons. 2. Oh. 2. That's my cutoff. 2. I could actually do if I could find the episodes. If I find the episodes, I could do a short-lived on that. But, so Animorphs was based on the book series of the same name and featured 5 teens who are found by this alien Andalite named Fangor. And he puts out this cube, and it gives them the power to turn into animals. So they can fight the evil aliens known as Yeerks. Because if I'm going to fight against evil aliens, I want to be a dog. It works. They do pretty good. The Yeerks are this parasitic little slug things that go in people's ears and take over their brains. Very invasion of the body snatchers type thing. Not really pop people, but the leader is Visser 3, or at least one of them. This point is Visser 3. He's one of the more notable ones, I should say. And he has taken over the body of another Andalite. Which means an Andalites have the ability to change into humans, animals, whatever. And eventually, not so much in the books, not much in the show, but in the book series, they do dabble into the Animorphs turning into other humans. They do that here too, but only with Tobias. Tobias is the sad story of the show and the books. During one of their missions, the rule is you cannot stay morphed as an animal for more than 2 hours or you're stuck. And Tobias gets stuck when he's trapped underground and he's not able to get out in time or change back, because you can't change back in front of the Yeerks. They'll figure out, so he has to hide and he's not able to change back. He goes over the 2 hour limit and he's stuck as a hawk. A red-tailed hawk, which is why it's my favorite animal. Reading the books and stuff, red-tailed hawk, my favorite animal, because of this show, this books, whatever. And Tobias is my favorite character, despite the problems that he has. Eventually, I don't remember how. I remember in the book, what was his name? Pretender? No. I don't know. It was this entity took Tobias back in time so he could. He gave him the power to change again, and had him touch a past version of himself so that he could be able to have a human form. But the catch is now he can't stay in that human form for more than 2 hours, or else he's stuck as a human. To me, now that's a dilemma, because for the rest of the series he's going back and forth between human and hawk. I would have stuck as human. Yes, I wouldn't be able to morph, but I'd be human again, right? Just saying. And then the books go into more and more detail, but this show in the last 2 seasons, we didn't really get a proper conclusion, even though they moved the 3-part TV movie they had called Changes was somewhat of a finale. It connected everything, but then there was a couple episodes afterwards, much like Drake and Josh. But yeah, decent show. Okay, moving on now. Number 4 again. Dun, dun, dun. It's kind of strange. You're looking after leaving it. I be medicine, babe. Or have you hit that target yet? Hey, Sandy, bye, there's a dog cry, hey, Sandy. I don't know what that is. That's the Adventures of Pete and Pete. Oh, please. I just happened to look down and see this on the floor. This is more related to the last one, but I have some of the books of Animorphs right here. This one is for the change. Nothing to do with changes, but that is Tobias right there. And I don't know if I can show it. These are all kind of cool. They had a little change things in the corner. Yeah. I'm not really into books, but I can do a book review on these. Maybe. Let's see how many I have, but yeah, I'm gonna see that. So back to the Adventures of Pete and Pete. It was a show about 2 brothers, both named Pete, Big Pete, Little Pete, and it ran for 3 seasons. It was basically about their trials and tribulations living in suburbia. And there was one notable one I like to watch called King of the Road, where their dad is known as the King of the Road, and he takes their family on the road trip. He has a license plate that says King of Fraud, or something like that. There's not, he doesn't have the exact one, But on their trip, they meet another family in which that father has a, the dad the Pete's dad, Don, he recognizes this everything on with the car as another, much like his, and he sees the license plate says King of Road, and he's like, okay, we gotta go because he wants to reach the Hoover Dam, and that family's going to the Hoover Dam, and so because he's the King of the Road, he's gotta get there first. Eventually, they do that. I won't ruin the episode, but they do that. I won't ruin how. But, yeah, and it's just trials and tribulations, and Iggy Pop plays the friend of Little Pete's dad. The dad of one of Little Pete's friends, I should say. And there's a lot of good episodes, especially in season 1. And there's one episode where Little Pete, he gets his song stuck in his head. One day when he's on his way to school, he catches this band, which is actually Polaris, the band who sings the theme song, singing a song, "Hanging all I've done. When I'm alone, I do things that nobody knows. And every single sentence and every little mess I made. And I wasn't around. And I wasn't around. Nobody knows. I wasn't around. Nobody knows. It's catchy. Because he got it stuck in his head. I remember I watched the episode on a DVD when I rented it from the library. And I got it stuck in my head. And I'm like, nobody knows. Now I have the actual song on my Spotify. So that's cool. It's called Summer Baby by Polaris. Check it out. But yeah, it's a memorable show. Most people put that as number 1, actually, but I got 3 more. Number 3 is Kenan and Kel. Here it goes. And it's basically somewhat spin-off of all that. Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell got their own show. They were actually doing this while they were still on all that, actually, and then they left to finish the last season of this. But it's about 2 friends named Kenan and Kel who live in Chicago, and their trials and tribulations. I keep saying that. But they do. Kenan works in the grocery store called Rigby's with his boss, Chris. And he lives at home with his family, his mom, his dad, and his sister, Kyra. And Kel, we never get to see Kel's parents. But we know from the graduation episode that I don't know which one's which, but one's a brain surgeon and one's a rocket scientist. And they gave birth to Kel. And we also find out in the graduation episode that Kel's full name is Kel Einstein Hypothalamus Kimball. What? We never meet his parents, which is cool. They have some guest stars like Bill Bellamy. I think it's Ron Harper from the Chicago Bulls. Dr. Joyce Brothers. You're thinking, wow, some guest stars. Bill Bellamy, Joyce Brothers, Ron Harper. Okay. There's an episode where they go to Hollywood, actually. 2-parter. Her goes to Hollywood. There's only a couple 2-parters because I don't count the movie. The movie is a movie. 2 heads are better than none. But there's a couple 2-parters. One is where Kenan has to move away. And that's actually a 2-parter that ends the season. But it doesn't cut in half. It's not like a cliffhanger. It's in 2 parts. But it doesn't like bookend the seasons or anything. It's not like part 1, then we wait, and then part 2 picks up next season. No, it's a 2-parter, and then that ends the season, and then it's something different, which I always thought was weird. I'm like, I thought this was like a cliffhanger between seasons, but it's not. But, they moved to Pumice, Montana, which I don't think is a real place. Pumice, Montana, and because Kenan's dad wants to be a ranger, not a Power Ranger, but a mountain ranger, forest ranger. Yes, what it is. And then the other one is out here goes to Hollywood, where they go to Hollywood, and you actually, you see David Alan Grier and Britney Spears. And out of all the celebrities I mentioned around the show, Britney Spears is probably the most notable. Although in the TV movie, 2 Heads Better Than None, they have Milton Berle. But yeah, pretty good show. Lasted 4 seasons. It was a sitcom. what I like about it is the format. Theme song would play, and then Keenan and Kel would both come out onto the stage, and they would introduce the show. They would talk, they'd do a little bit, which would usually leave Kel alone, and he'd be like, here it goes. And then they do the episode, and they come back on the stage, and then they do another bit, and eventually it would end with Keenan telling Kel to go get something, and then Kel ending it with an here it goes. Example. Kel, you know what? That gives me an idea. Kel, give me your tortilla, some beans, and a pan full of guacamole. Man, meet me at Dr. Frank's House of Waffles. That's Dr. Frank's House of Waffles. Whenever you're in the mood for some delicious waffles, just open up and say, Kid, did they pay you to do? Did they pay you to say that? Kid, do they have guacamole at Dr. Frank's House of Waffles? That's Dr. Frank's House of Waffles. Whenever you're in the mood for waffles, just open up and say, here it goes. That's one of the most memorable ones. But yeah, it was a fun show. Number 2. All that. It's all that. That's right. All that. Number 2. That's because it was a sketch comedy show featuring a bunch of kids that lasted 10 seasons originally, and now it's on its 11th season. Because from 1994. 94 to 2000, it ran for 6 seasons. And then after that, it skipped a year, and in 2002, it was brought back for 5 more seasons. With the final season airing at the end of the season, ended in 2006, I think. And then many years later, in 2019, they brought it back once again. This time with Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell as producers. And they have some of the original cast pop up from time to time, and that's pretty cool. But I'm talking about the original one here. Even the revival, which it ended in 2005 is when it had this 10-year reunion. And I've heard some criticisms where when it started, half of the cast were African American, and by the end of the 10-season run, it was like one African American kid, maybe 2. I don't know. It happens like the cast now. If you count the new girl, there's 3. I forgot about Gabby. But there's 3 African Americans. So, yeah. There's Lex, Gabby, and whatever. Yeah, just the mindless shorts. Ishboo, PRS Cargo, Super Dude, Good Burger, Repairman, man, Vital Information. I can stay here forever. Randy Quench, whatever. Trash and Fashion. Bernie Kibitz, Coach Creighton, Detective Dan, Jimmy Bond, Baby Talk, And one notable thing I want to say is during the 6th season, Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, was a member of the cast just for the 6th season. After Kenan and Kel left, I figured they get the Fluffy guy to play. You can take the place of 2 characters. Basically, that's what it was. But yeah, it's a pretty good show, and I still like to watch the reruns to this day. Number 1 is Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's right. It was a Canadian kids TV show, an anthology series where it was a group of kids sitting around a campfire telling scary stories. Each episode would be a different story. I was going to do a top 10 episode. I may wait for that for later, but it's a very good show. It's going along, and I thought it was almost 30 minutes. It's a good show. Watching it back, because I recently watched the first 5 seasons with my son recently, and the Goosebumps is scarier than this. But it's interesting to watch it now as an adult, especially with your son. It's like passing it on, the next generation. So it is kind of cool, and it is kind of cool to watch still. I like watching them. So yeah, that's my top 10. What do you think on my? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on my top 10? In the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.